Thanks for choosing Real Talk and Whatnot. I'm your host, Micah Diele, and this episode is brought to you by Marcus Rodriguez. If you're looking to buy a home in this competitive market, but not too sure where to start, or even want to sell your home and you're not too sure where to start, look no further than Marcus Rodriguez. He'll point you in the right direction, explain everything very clearly to you, and make sure you understand what you're doing, as well as let you know what he's doing to help you. You can reach him at his phone number at 209-554-1715. You can go to his website at www.myrealtormarcus.com, or even email him at info@myagentmarcus.com. Once again, you guys, I'll put all that information on the screen right over here, or maybe right over here, not too sure. Just feel free to contact him, and he will help you guys get your dreams of buying a house or selling your house solved. Alrighty, let's jump into the routine of things. Once again, you guys, thank you for listening to Real Talk and Whatnot. I'm your host, like I said, Micah Diele, and this podcast is about the Central Valley of California and highlighting those talented individuals who live within here, as well as people in general who are passionate about what they do. Once again, I'm going to remind you guys about reviews and downloads. Make sure you're downloading every single episode, as well as leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or any YouTube videos if you're watching it there. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Make sure you're giving thumbs up. Make sure you're commenting on the videos. Make sure you just know that I can, tell who's listening to it, because I really appreciate any feedback I hear from this podcast. Now, the Central Valley of California, for those of you who don't know, stretches basically from above Sacramento all the way down to Bakersfield. That's basically right before the Grapevine. And when you head to LA, and I've been spitting some facts on this podcast that I hadn't checked before, so I'm just gonna go ahead and correct all those facts right now, because I said some. I keep on saying it produces like 40% of the food of the nation, which that's pretty close to being right, but it's not as much as I thought. So I got some facts on my phone right here. I'm gonna read them to you guys. So, using fewer than 1% of the U.S. farmland, the Central Valley supplies 8% of U.S. agricultural output, but it also produces 1/4 of the nation's food, including 40% of the nation's fruits and nuts. So that's where most of fruit and nuts, like in almonds, I think it's like 90% almonds come from California, which is crazy, you guys. So basically, this is just a huge valley. It's a San Joaquin Valley, and it's just great farmland, you guys. It's just great farmland. It's what caused, farmers to come from all over this area of California. It's honestly a forgotten part of California, because everyone thinks of LA, San Francisco. They don't think about where all their food comes from, or a lot of their food comes from, I should say. So that my whole point of this podcast is just highlight the people who live within this area, as well as people who are passionate about what they do. So I just want to thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it, and let's just jump into today's episode. Now, today I am joined by some boys from Blaker Brewery. I am joined by the president of Blaker Brewery, Keaton, as well as Raul, who's basically just a jack of all trades. He does their social media and pretty much anything that they need. Now, I had a great time talking with them, and we just talk with them about how Blaker started, how like their family came over, and they had a dairy for a while. They had a dairy on Blaker Street, and that's where the name Blaker Brewery came from. And then they just talked about, what they're doing within the community. They have a lot of events coming up. We talk about all those events coming up. We talk about their giant 4th of July event that's coming up. And then we even talk about, just what they're doing for the community. Now, they're located, they have a tap room in Ceres, and they have a tap room in Atwater. But, of course, that includes, Merced, it includes Turlock, includes Modesto, it brings the whole 209 together. And they want to, put on events and shows and just create things to do within the Central Valley. And that's pretty much my motto and what I've been trying to do as well. So I just had a great conversation with them. I got to learn a lot about beer. I got to try some of their amazing beer that I hadn't had the opportunity to try yet. And I just had a great conversation with Raul and Keaton. And I don't know, I'm just so happy that I've gotten to be able to work with them on the past couple of things, and, I just look forward to what the future holds for us. So without further ado, you guys, please welcome Blaker Brewing. This is it. Real talk and whatnot.
Real talk.
Cheers,
Real
boys.
talk. Real talk.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I have some boys from Blaker Brewing here today. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Cool. After you.
My name's Raul. I work at Blaker.
Yeah, my name's Keaton. I also work at Blaker.
All right, and what do you guys do for Blaker?
Yeah.
I am a beer tender. I used to do sales, and now I'm part of the marketing. So kind of like a jack of all trades, really.
Cool.
Kind of whatever they say to do, I kind of do.
Yeah.
You're a floater, huh?
Yeah,
I'll do it
yeah.
all.
Yeah. I'm I'm the president of Blaker Brewing, so I kind of do a lot of everything too.
Yeah.
But I think, I started beer tending. Me and him actually started about the same time.
He was kind of saying that, like, right, almost like right.
What, like 2 weeks? Maybe a paycheck's in
I
between
think it
us.
was a paycheck. Yeah.
Paycheck's the difference of us. Yeah.
Yep. So, I do a lot of different stuff, but a lot of times it's like I, kind of work directly for our owner. So, he a lot of times is focusing on like the growth of the business at this point and, the new projects and this and that. And, you guys have become involved with us.
Yeah.
So focusing on that. And then, a lot of times it's like my side of it is more of like anything he can't get to or like day to day, just like making sure the team has what they need, coordinating between them. A lot of times it's like connecting dots and communicating.
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
stuff like that.
That's cool. That's cool. And then, so how far into Blaker, like, or how long did the business exist before you guys got involved with it?
Right.
Oh.
So I think, they opened in January of 2018. Yeah. And then we were both in August. So, so about 6 months.
Yeah.
Within the first year. And so, I mean, Tom's not here to give how it all started.
I don't want to interrupt. I was like, I just realized I've gum in my mouth. That's a really bad.
No, we're good, man. We're good. There we go.
I didn't read the podcast etiquette.
But at least we know Keaton's breath is nice.
There we go. Keaton's fresh breath. Yeah. So obviously Tom's not here to talk about how it started, but if one of you guys could go into like, how did Blaker come to be?
Yeah, I'm happy to dig in. I don't want to step on. If you have anything you want to say.
No, I mean,
I've gotten this story a few times, so I'm happy to do it.
I had just known from what Tom had told me and what Keaton has told me, and like from other like upper management that had worked there. Blaker started on Blaker Street or Road. Road, and then Tom just grew a very good passion for it, and then kind of thought maybe, hey, let's take this into like another serious level. I think that's more of like the kind of like the skim of the story. Yeah. But I don't really know the in depths of it, like of how like he went about buying stuff and stuff like that. But I just knew that Tom was very passionate about work and stuff like that because he did have a dairy before, Lucas Farms. And then he kind of moved into Blaker and made it into more of like a business or more of like a hobby that became a business. Because I just know that, I mean, if you talk to him for 5 minutes, maybe you just know he's going to have great stuff to say about beer and stuff like that. I feel like that's kind of brushing over it a little bit more, a little more in depth. Maybe Keaton knows more.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll pick up some shades. Yeah. So the black and white is good. And I'm going to, what do you call it in comics? It's like the pencil work. And then I'm going to come in with illustration. So the Lucas family, they were a dairy and farming.
That's Tom's last name.
Yeah, Lucas. Yeah.
Lucas.
So they were a dairy and primarily dairy family from the 30s. And so their family, I think it's Tom's great grandpa, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they came over. I think from the Azores.
Oh, okay, yeah. My family's from Portugal too.
Portuguese background, yeah. And so came over and got their first 40 acres and first cows in 1938. And so on some of the Blaker branding, you'll see that 1938 kind of mixed in places, as well as the original name for the brewery was going to be Blaker 40 Brewing.
Blaker 40?
Throwback to the
original.
Like
is that like a farming term or something like that?
Sometimes people will say like, oh yeah, on the old 40, like it's kind of a saying. But also I think they literally had like 40 acres when they started. Now it's a couple hundred.
I think I have a couple shirts still that say Blaker 40 too.
Like some of the old merch.
Oh, really?
So basically they were doing that. And, Tom's grandpa's still around, Norm Lucas. Tom's dad is Mike Lucas, and then Tom Lucas, right? So basically Tom was home brewing, doing that whole thing kind of just for fun. Got involved with the gentleman who, one of his best friends, and they kind of built it, thought they were going to do it. Tom ended up moving into a different partnership with the guy who he opened the brewery as our head brewer. He did a great job for us for a long time. He's no longer with the company, but they opened the place and kind of made their go at it, and so far very successful.
Yeah, dude,
we're both just happy to be a part of it.
Both tap rooms. I was telling him I haven't been at the Series tap room yet.
Series tap room is nice. It's cool to see like where like Blaker came from.
Where it
like,
started.
I mean, even if you go now, it's kind of like not what it was
when we
still.
It
still is not like. It's grown even there in series and as well even at the Tarmac and Atwater. It's
Tarmac. You guys just have. I mean, in reality, you guys can get as big as you want. I don't think there's too many people.
It's fun. It's a fun place to work at because then you just like I feel like every day you come into work, even if you went into work the day before, like you go in the day after and there's a new project. And you're like, wait, I thought we did everything yesterday.
Well, because it's still like a growing. You can tell it's growing.
Yeah, definitely.
Not even close to done. You
No,
know, it's like
no.
it's always the next new thing. Which, like I was saying, that's like Tom likes to focus on that, and and so that is it's really cool because it makes a unique opportunity for all of us as well to kind of just be like, okay, what can I do for that?
Yeah.
So I think when it came to the tarmac, getting that open. He and I were both on hand a lot doing stuff down there.
A lot, yeah.
And then when it came to like the tower, which is the outdoor space just adjacent to the tarmac, that was like last summer, during COVID when everything kind of slowed down.
Because there wasn't like any taproom work. I mean, for me as well. And then like Keaton was more focused on like how we could like open and like our events and stuff. So it's like that wasn't available.
And then Atwater was like, don't worry, we got it, guys.
Atwater's like sanctuary city. You're like, whatever that means, as long as we can do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what me and Keaton were doing that last year. We for COVID, that was our summer, is building the tower.
Yeah, and like pulling like I think it used to be a movie theater right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they left all the concrete there for us to pick up.
Oh yeah, that's what Tom was telling us.
It's
when
like
we
they
were
came through with just like a sledgehammer and broke it up.
and there's like left it there.
Yeah, that's what we did that was our summer. And it was a good summer project because now after our summer smash had just happened, we kind of just saw like, man.
Like you guys know how much work went into
we're
it.
like, dude, those railroad ties aren't light. If just for reference, those railroad ties are very heavy.
I think
soaked
between
in
you
oil.
and me and Tom and like two other guys, like there's probably I don't know, 60 like 60 railroad ties that have been put in position, which it's a lot of that's a lot of like lugging around.
You think about it, and then like so those little four that you see probably like around like right when you walk in, you're like, oh man, that probably took like a whole day.
Yeah,
easily to dig it out and then level it and then put it in there. Yep. But I mean, from like what we did, I mean, that's more rewarding than actually working, like seeing like the place like that. I think I get more. It's wow, man, we came a long way.
Yeah, and so how long, or like, so when did the tarmac start? Like, when do you guys want or thinking about expanding?
From location 1 to location 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically. Yeah,
I feel like we looked at the spot in December of like what 2019 and 2020.
Well, we opened in January 2020, so and I think it was the December 4, dude. Like I think it was you and I had only been in the company a few months, and Tom took us down there and showed it to us.
Was it really?
Yeah, because at least the first time I saw it, it was still basically a gas station that had just been abandoned.
They still had the lids and stuff.
Yeah, and so there was like fridges in there. There was a wall that's no longer in there.
Were you guys like, are you sure, Tom?
Yeah.
I definitely saw it, and I was like,
this guy's been drinking the Plowdown.
I don't know what's going on. I kind of was like, Tom, you sure, man? Like, no, but like, yeah, it must have been the first year that we were there. So we saw it in the middle of December, and I remember we went and looked at it, and it was it looked, I mean, from my standpoint, looking at the tarmac now, I still kind of see the gas station, but then I remember like, dude, remember that was there and like stuff like that. But I think then Keaton, you're all right. Yeah, 2018.
It was. I mean, because last year was like it feels like a time warp. It's like I keep going.
Count.
Oh, remember it was like 2 summers ago we were pulling all those rocks out of there. You're like, no, that was last summer.
Yeah, I was like
I just my whole timeline.
Last summer was a very long summer.
Weird. Yeah. I think it's because we were kept so busy with like Blaker and stuff still. So
well, I'm sure I'm sure like every other restaurant they had to lay off like a crap ton of people, but you guys were one of the few that.
Well, we did have to lay off a lot of people, man. It really sucks.
No, but I'm saying you guys probably are one of the few that were still on. You know what I mean?
Raul was gone for a bit, and then he was.
I
was
losing my mind for 2 months, and then Tom called me, and I was like, anything,
I think
dude.
You might have been the first to come back. I know Amanda was pretty quick as well.
Yeah.
Who at the time
that was when she got the brewing, though. Yeah.
Right.
But for the most part, it was me, and then I was like, dude, yes, and then I mean, it was just like one of those things. Like it's like. I kind of was like, man, I didn't really get that full quarantine, you know? I see my friends in a row and stuff like that. I posted up.
I got that full quarantine.
Yeah,
going
like,
camping.
Dang, I want to chill.
This podcast got born.
Yeah,
right. Well, there you go.
Hey, it's crazy to think that like those setbacks, like they say that, saying the setbacks are meant for like to get momentum.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Like, I really thought it was, But
no, exactly. And that's my whole thing was the quarantine is just like, I mean, a lot of people obviously were struggling and that was bad. But it's really cool to see how many people like bloomed or like succeeded through the quarantine. And even like Tarmac probably is a good example.
I think that I think that we bloomed a lot though, because I mean like don't get me wrong, like we were struggling, you know what I mean? Like it was like one of those things, like as far as like workers and stuff like that, we were all kind of like, bummed that we couldn't open the tap room. That's our like not like, it's our main source of like meeting our customers.
Yeah.
But I mean, once we opened, man, we got insane amount of support from like Atwater and Series, and it was just like, whoa, like they want you to be there, so it kind of makes it feel like like what you're doing to make it better and like as safe as possible for people like during COVID was like cool. As long as everyone's cool with this, like we want people to be here.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we were brand new, and then everything shut down like a month and a half.
Yeah,
and we were kind of, obviously, pretty stressed going like, what are we going to do? All that. And at both locations, just people kind of coming by just to buy cans. And
that was really cool. I
Yeah.
remember I went by Blaker and the Tarmac once during the quarantine, and then I used to live in Turlock
It's
too.
probably me out in the sun.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Sitting
and so I went to Dust Bowl too, but it was like one of the time where you couldn't even do anything. Like you could just drive by, grab some beer, and that was your Friday night.
But those
I
remember
You're
those
like,
days
wow, I went out.
Someone bought a case. They're like, it got wild, guys.
Those days got busy, but then it's like you have a line of people, and then you're just talking to that person, and it's like almost like you're serving them a beer and they're hanging out. But it's like, for the most part, it's like, I would love to do this, man, but we can't. You know what I mean? And then the next card doesn't have a problem with it because like, no, I have you for 5 minutes now. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of people didn't have like that. I guess like face to face, like stranger kind of contact,
just interactions, just your daily interactions, and then
like we love,
especially with the masks, like it just sucks because you can't tell if someone's smiling, if someone's like, you know what I mean. I hate masks for that reason.
You also can't tell if they're giving you the the stink eye. You're like, wait, what's going on with you, man?
Like, do you not like me or do you like me?
I'd always be doing this under my mask. It's like, I'm just like throwing them off, but like no one would really get it. But
the cat video,
sometimes, I'll get stuck in my teeth. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why, but I love it so much.
My dog does that, or both my dogs always get like that. And so, like, how much beer do you guys produce?
Yeah. So we produce. I think this year we're shooting to hit, get around 2,000 barrels. I think that's the goal. I think that might be the pace we're at. Had we had a full year of production, so like kind of year over year, that's where we're at. But for this actual calendar year, I don't think we'll.
And
hit
there is
that.
like a big like change too from like. From Tarmac and then from the series tap room too.
Right.
So it's like, and then also getting like new like clientele from like opening up the Tarmac out here in Atwater. There's a lot more like, because they're like, oh, it's a local brewery, which is why Atwater's like just dope. Like the Atwater Merced area, like we're like, we want local beer.
So total production of beer is going to be in the neighborhood of 2,000 barrels, I guess, just for a rough estimate. So that's a barrel of beer is like a traditional value, which today makes 0 sense why they did this, but back in the day, I'm sure it made a lot of sense.
Some of those things that just stayed. Like,
a barrel is 31 gallons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, honestly, when you were saying this, that doesn't mean that.
You're like, okay, cool, whatever that is.
You're like,
cool.
Like a
lot. Yeah. So roughly
Chinese,
31 times 2,000, so 60,000 gallons ish. Roughly of beer, and so there's eight of these in a gallon. So you start doing that math, but.
Can you guys be found like at any like bars and stuff?
Yeah. So out here, so some of our, as a small brewery in California, it's actually a pretty good state for what we do. Obviously people have their thoughts about taxes and things like that in California, but for the beer industry, for small craft, it's actually really good. A few of the other West Coast states as well do the same, where you basically, if you're below a certain size, they allow you to have multiple tap rooms with the right licensing, which we have. And it also allows you to distribute your own beer. Where in the alcohol industry, just in general, there's 3 tiers, right? So you've got manufacturers, you've got distributors, and you've got retailers. And they keep it separate after Prohibition. They created this whole system basically to stop with like monopolies and like insider trading and all this stuff. So the idea is to split those 3 things up, and it makes it a little more fair and equitable competition-wise. When you're a small brewery in California and some other select states, you're allowed to basically be the manufacturer and the distributor of your own product.
That's cool.
That helps us kind of keep a little more profit.
Yeah.
So basically, we open these tap rooms, and all of a sudden, like our name is out there, and then you start to build some of those distribution accounts as well. So Merced and Atwater have been super cool with all that.
That's really cool. And I mean, my next question kind of goes like right in, and we kind of talked about like how you guys are connected with the local area, but like, how would you say Blaker's relationship is with Merced, Atwater, and obviously Ceres, Modesto, that area?
Yeah. Oh, really good, man. I mean, as far as like the series in like Modesto area, like I would say even like Turlock too. It's like, I mean, we get a lot of great feedback from it, as far as like from the taproom standpoint, and then even at the Tarmac, like us being in stores and being like in restaurants and stuff like that, and people actually wanting to like make room for us, and saying like, no, this shelf's for you guys. We want you guys here.
That's cool,
because like we're located in a lot of places like beer caves right there around the corner from us, which is a great spot to go to if you ever love craft beer.
Right.
And a lot of people don't really know about it.
You're talking about in Atwater?
Kind of
I know exactly what you're talking
right
about.
around the corner from
And like the Save Marts and like Rayleigh's and stuff like that, they've like made room for us all the time, and they've been super cool about it. And like they're just like, hey man, you guys' stuff's flying, like you guys need to come back more often. So I mean, as far as like the incorporation of it, and then like city workers and stuff like that, and then like first responders and everything like that. We love the fact that they can come here and have a beer because like we are very kind of like I was saying, like blue collar, like hard hat, like hard days kind of work. You deserve a beer kind of spot.
Yeah.
So we really like that kind of feedback from the surrounding areas and stuff like that, and the people that live here too. Because I mean, it's just a great place.
Well,
to
yeah,
work
and
at.
you guys
I
are
love it,
putting something out there in the town of Merced, like an Outwater to do. You know what I mean? Like, like Summer Smash, good example. Like,
Summer
there
Smash
hasn't been
great,
something like that even in the area. Like, and I don't know how long, obviously because of COVID and everything else too. But it was just cool that you guys are putting on stuff.
Yeah, I think too, because like I remember like when we first opened up the Tarmac, I remember like we were so busy, and I was like, there's got to be bars out here, you know what I mean? And I remember asking people like, what did you guys do before this? Like, where were you guys at before? And they're like, dude, Applebee's was popping. I was like, dude, Applebe's? They're like,
dude,
I'm
it
like,
used
dude.
to be like ridiculous how popular Applebee's was.
Dude, I didn't know. I really didn't know that.
It's so like those tall beers, though, man. I tell you,
don't get me wrong. Like they're cheap. You can get like it's like I think right now they have a deal. It's like stupid. It's like $25 for like 50 wings, like something ridiculous.
Oh, dude,
I'm like,
well, I know where I'm going after.
You're
this.
also like, you're also
what the hell are we doing here?
I remember they do like the dollar. Do they still do the dollar drinks and stuff?
Well, yeah. So
the sugar, alcohol.
Like, two of my best friends used to work there, and so I would like see them afterwards, and they would like, I fucking hate this. They'd be like Dollaritas, and so they'd have like people getting 20 margaritas for $20. Like, and obviously they're like some crappy margarita. You know what I mean? Not
Jose
like
Cuervo, the good stuff.
Yeah. It's like very yellow. Or Jose Cuervo.
Margaritas are not supposed to be yellow. You're like, these are.
These are good. These are Dollaritas. These are not margaritas.
Yeah.
You're the wrong
it's
place.
It's actually a whole different type of liquor.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
And then, so what beer was your guys' first beer like that you guys did? Or the one that we were like, we're going to stick with this one?
The first beer, well, but the beers we're about to talk about, first beers were before we were even part of it.
Yeah.
But, the very first beer that became like a Blaker beer was actually the Vanilla Bean Milk Stout.
Okay.
That was a homebrew
actually my
recipe.
personal favorite.
Yeah.
If you have not tried it, I did not like stouts before.
Yeah.
And I love that beer. That's my favorite beer.
Yeah, it's a milk stout. So we're talking, you've got stout quality. So you've got like chocolatiness.
I think it is. I honestly just don't want anything that heavy right now.
Right. No, me either. I'm like, I don't drink a lot of it.
Take it to the lake, you guys.
There you go, baby. Yeah, no, it's a great beer. But yeah, so you got stout, you got, coffee and chocolate characteristics. And then in that beer, we do lactose, which is what makes it a milk stout.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
As well as real, in this case, Vanuatu vanilla beans, which I'm not even sure where that is. But it's, I want to say
it sounds nice.
Yeah. It does sound cool. I want to say it's like near Africa, but I really don't know. And I'm going to just out myself as like I'm terrible at geography. Like I'm good at some things. That's just not one of them.
Yeah, no worries.
So vanilla bean milk stout, and then I would say not that far after. I think Honey Babies was invented in the period like leading up to opening of the original brewery. So I want to say I don't know that they did Honey Babies a lot as home brewers, but I think it was around, and then they kind of solidified the recipe, and then it became like Honey Babies. In kind of the pre-open days, and now it's our number one seller for sure.
This might be a stupid question, but is there honey in Honey Babies, huh?
It's actually not a stupid question because there's not. Because technically, so if it's a blonde, this is a blonde ale.
Yeah.
But there's a classification called the honey blonde ale. So if it was a honey blonde, that would be you add honey. Where in this case we don't. It's just called that. The honey you get is from just the
and
malt.
then we tell people
natural.
about vanilla bean milk stout, and then they ask if there's milk in it, and then we're like, yeah. They're like, oh wait, what?
You're like, what?
So we're just playing the confusing game.
We're just like,
People were like, wait, you said that, and then they're like,
yeah, we just name stuff. Just
is there lake water intake to the lake? You're like,
actually,
no.
yes. We keep it real.
It's cheaper.
Keep it real at Blaker.
And then, Honey Babies was there, and then what about like IPAs? Which ones were you guys' couple first IPAs?
Yeah, so I'm drinking our kind of OG here, Plowed Under. I
would say those are probably the three of our flagship beers.
Yeah, those are our cores.
Honey Babies, Vanilla Bean, and Plowed Under.
And then Blaker Lit is kind of becoming a core. We've been kind of, before I was even there, I remember coming in when I was like applying and just like kind of, not going like, oh, I'm going to be that annoying guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to apply and then hang out here all the time.
Hey, I was that annoying guy just making videos for you guys.
No, you did it like a G though. You were like, I'm just going to give you a cool product. If you want to screen cap it and take it, that's up to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then and then we hit him up to like work with us because that's smart.
Which I'll show you what we got so far afterwards.
Really cool, So Blaker Lit. So we were looking for a light beer, a lager that could be part of like the core beers. And I didn't
see that one until Summer Smash. I'd never seen that one.
Yeah, it's out, but it's we're just now getting into like what we would say like is like kind of full production, which is like kind of intend to always have it. At our size, sadly, it's kind of it's this close to impossible to like always have every single beer and never run out.
Yeah.
In order for us to do the things
you guys
we do.
offer a lot of beers though.
We do. We try to put out a new beer every 2 to 3
weeks. The thing is though too,
weeks.
is like when someone has like they love like the plowed under, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh dude, we have Juicy Double. Think about it, it's like the same similar thing, but they just see their can, they're like, no, I want that beer.
one.
But I'm like, we have so many different options, man. And it's like, that's why I think like a lot of people ask about like when they like a beer and then they don't see it that we have it come back, and it's like, well, didn't really fly that fast, so that's why we're not doing it again. But then they're like, I loved it, and I go, well, tell your friends that you love it. I love that beer too. Like,
If it drinks fast, we're gonna make it again. Put it that way.
Yeah.
The thing is also is folks really just the way that our fans are, and as well as just the kind of beer consumer and craft beer in general, they want the new thing, right? So for us to have a few core things that people can feel like those are your like staples, that's great, and we love that. And like everything that we make a core, one, sells well, but two, we're just really proud of. Seasonally, Vanilla Bean sells really well and actually does really well in stores for us, but actually in draft, it doesn't really move that fast. Not that many people are going for beer, but we love it.
Stores and stuff like that.
In stores, it does really well. Because I think folks go to the store looking like, I want to go find that something different, and they kind of, this is dark, it's different.
Does it do better in the wintertime, or you think seasonally in wintertime?
Cooler, definitely. And you don't have to worry about that summer bod,
no one's thinking about it.
Just throw another sweatshirt on, bro. You're good.
So man, that's really the core stuff. So it's really the 3 you see here, and then the Vanilla Bean.
Cool. Well, all the 3 that we're drinking, right? Or these 3, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. And then, so you guys ever like plan on expanding? Not that you would brew wine, but like having wine at your locations. I only ask that because there's multiple people that like my mom, she can't drink beer, but she loves the environment of Blaker. Exactly. And
we're actually in the process of opening up a wine bar.
Cool.
So it's going to be
on location at the
on
tower.
location. So it'll be
at the tarmac.
It'll be at our tarmac location that we'll have it out there. It's actually going to be right when you walk out to the back patio, when you start walking towards the tower, it'll be located on your left.
Yeah, so you'll have
So where the pizza place is right there, kind of
in that same
right
little
there.
I think when you guys at one point you guys were like you had a tripod set up between like that gate right there. And right now there's a big tent right there. I think the wine bar will be somewhere right there. It'll be 2 like really cool shipping containers, kind of like the stage. It'll fit that vibe. And they're going to be back to back and like cut out, and basically it's going to be a bar. One side can serve the tower, one side can serve the tarmac.
Oh, that's perfect, honestly.
So I'm not exactly sure,
when.
Tom, I mean, probably in the next couple months, but Tom will have to speak to like exactly how that'll go. But I think what it is like, we know we want to offer it for bigger events where people rent the space or where there's like something special going on. I think we're probably going to offer it like just regular. But it,
I think once
it
like kind of grows more and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it does change the vibe too. Because I mean, I do kind of feel bad for like the people that can't like drink beer or whatever because of it, and I'm like,
because the tarmac is a really cool place to hang out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You can sit there like kind of all day.
Yeah. You guys have a corking fee or anything? Or I only asked that in the sense of
I mean, we so right now, we wouldn't really allow folks to bring their own wine or anything. We do have, legally, we have the ability to like sell wine already. Like, it's already part of our license.
Because beer and wine is right.
Yeah,
together.
and cider is technically like a wine product, I believe. So it's kind of cider's kind of in the middle weirdly. And so we actually, with I think like an additional license that's not very hard to get, we could make our own cider. We just aren't, like our brewers aren't that worried about it. And we also have a great partner in Tapped Apple Cider, which is a cider we do serve.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even realize that wasn't your guys'. I just assumed that.
They're at a Salida, small family-owned operation, really high-quality product, really great people.
They
so
have
we
really
just buy
good,
their
they have
stuff.
really good like options of like ciders and stuff like that. Their flavors.
And they're just a cider or a cider.
Yeah,
Is it called cidery?
Cidery.
Is that what it's called?
Totally,
Okay, let's guess.
Yeah, cidery, and I think they've started to like think about. I believe under their license, when you do a wine-like product, it's all based in fruit juices, and I think you can also do like brandies. And so I know they're thinking about getting into some brandies, which could be really cool. Because I mean, I don't really drink brandy, but I'll drink their brandy.
Yeah. That's cool.
So anyway, wine, we can do wine, but it's like we're supposed to buy it and then sell it. So if people bring their own stuff, I'm not even sure how that works legally.
Yeah,
like, I know.
I just know because
that
that's the only reason that I was asking.
There's a corkage fee usually. It's like
it's like $5-10 bucks.
If it's a nice place, then it might be $20. But But we're not nice.
Yeah.
It's $20 corkage fee.
Tom's like,
outside,
what are
man.
these guys doing on this podcast?
You're ruining us.
Why did my wife want somebody to go on this podcast?
I'm like, Tom's calling me right now. Oh shit, Keaton.
I didn't know we were live.
No, definitely not live. And then so, I mean, we talked about your guys' goals for the future and stuff, but like, at the Tarmac, what do you guys got coming up?
Yeah.
Anything or any both locations, not even
Like
Tarmac.
events or
yeah,
just-
just in general. What are your plans for the
actually-
future? And then,
He's like, I've
We
been
got
doing
a
the
lot
marketing.
coming
Let's go.
up. Yeah.
so you
So-
speak on the events. Go ahead.
Yeah.
He's
So
got
as far as like right now, for on the 19th, we do have our summer smash at the Series Tap Room. We just had it at the Tarmac.
Featuring Flying Blind.
Yeah, Flying Blind will be there.
Mhm.
They're a really big band. They were in the American Pie movie. They have done our shows before, and it's been a big event. This is not a ticketed event that we'll be doing at the Series Tap Room, but we also have them performing, and then we'll also have a collab beer that we'll be releasing on that day.
Oh,
It's
okay.
our, last one we did with them was an instrumental one. This one will be
So a collab with a band?
yeah, so they
okay.
actually came to the brewery and series, and they did a live show like on our live stream, and then they actually were the ones that they picked the hops that go in the beer, which is El Dorado, Idaho, and Simcoe hops.
Yep.
All the O's. So that's and then so they actually were the ones that incorporated the hops into it while we were brewing it, and they stayed there all day, and so they actually had a really big part in making the beer with us.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah,
That is
and then
cool.
it's
They
Smoke
jammed a few
Screen.
songs.
Yeah,
for
they
us.
did a live
That was
stream.
fun,
Yeah. So it's our Smoke Screen Summer Ale,
Yep.
and then we'll
That's
be
the name of
releasing
like their
that.
biggest song.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
big
so
okay.
we'll be
You
releasing
know,
that.
How old are you again, Micah?
I'm 28.
Okay, yeah. So you're
We're all in the same
almost
kind of
30.
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So they had that song. Yeah, she only likes me when I'm high.
Oh yeah, I know
so
that
that's
song.
them, yeah.
Oh, okay. I knew that. Yeah, I knew that there was like a bigger that you guys were talking about.
Right.
Then that was kind of a bigger band,
Doing
but
it,
I didn't
yeah.
know that. Or-
Yeah. So they had like a few. That was a huge hit, like
Yeah.
national, probably international.
Yeah.
They were touring all over the country, doing that whole thing, and I think they were kind of like in the mix with like early Maroon 5, like they were on those same,
Yeah.
and they obviously didn't hit it as hard
Yeah.
as Maroon 5 did, but they definitely had some really cool success and other great songs. And then I
And
think
then, so are they
started-
from?
Houston.
They're from Houston.
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
I have
Most
my,
of the guys,
My
or half the
cousin,
guys
I
are
have
from
cousins out
Houston.
in Houston.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they're all from
Yeah.
Modesto/Houston kind of area, and just kind of in high school, kind of post high school, started the band, and
That's
just
dope.
kinda
yeah.
took
And
off.
they
yeah.
still have the same amount of energy that they did
yeah,
when they were in
dude,
high
they're-
school.
They're so much
Really?
fun, dude.
Hanging
Yeah, they're
out
great.
with them and rocking out with them is like, dude, these guys are
The
gonna put
party.
on- they're all
rock
yeah.
stars, bro.
Oh,
Of course
they're
they
gonna,
party.
they're gonna put on a great show. They do that. So that's on the 19th of this month, and then we'll be releasing that beer, and then also on
Mask mandate ends on the 15th.
Yeah. and then on
for anybody who
the
didn't know.
23rd we
I
have
think, right? Or
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Hopefully.
They're-
yeah.
they're-
Well, I
they're
mean,
really-
like
those are the rules we're following.
yeah.
We're gonna follow those.
They're
rules.
removing.
You said.
they're removing national restriction, and like so. Each county makes its own call. I think
Oh.
California, or the national thing's already done. California on the 15th is going like each county make your own decisions.
Oh, okay,
And
that's
so
cool.
obviously knowing where we all live, like pretty sure it's
Yeah.
gonna
Oh,
be like
yeah.
it's gonna be like toss up. Yeah. So
We're the most liberal area of California, man. What are you
of course.
talking about?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Then we have
Yeah.
that. Then we have the 23rd, which is our farm to table dinner, which is where we do it out at the Tarmac.
Uh-huh.
And then that's a ticketed event. And then that's going to be like a 5-course meal that we do. And we pair each meal with a beer that we make. And some of the food that we make is actually our beer is used in the process of making that.
Oh,
it's always
really?
super seasonal, super fresh, like by the
Yeah.
farmer's market and like this and that. Like so, Chef Melissa,
Mhm.
who is she's a partner with our owner and some other and another partner
Yeah.
on the Sage Eats truck.
Yeah.
And then she also has a catering business that she does very well, and she's done some stuff like at our either location. She's done like, oh, my 50th birthday, I want to have like a nicer dinner, and she'll come out and like do that for you,
Uh-huh.
kind of a catering style, like wedding.
Yeah,
Also
yeah.
the pizza as well.
Yeah, and she does the wood-fired
brick
pizza
Oh,
too.
okay.
So she runs all of that. She's kind of she's a hustler. So
And also now the farmer's market that's
Right.
there on Thursdays. Yeah.
Yeah, so farmers markets there's Thursdays between what times?
4 to 7
In the evening? I mean, obviously not
in
in
the
the
evening.
morning.
Yeah, Thursday.
4 to 7 a.m.
At the Tarmac.
Get your ass up.
Early bird gets the organic food. You're like,
Yeah.
no.
Well, we're gonna drink it.
Well,
4
I only
a.m.
ask because farmers markets are generally like really, I mean, in the
Yeah,
morning.
you go
know,
really. That's true. That's a good point.
We have like food vendors there, and then we have people that sell like like they're like homemade stuff, or,
Trinkets
like
and stuff.
yeah, like we have a girl that does like her pottery stuff and things like that there. And then on the 24th, the following day, we have our second comedy show at the series location. and that will be
That's cool. I'm so happy
that's kind of his
coming.
baby.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Is
Your idea, man? Dude, good job.
It's his baby. And
so we're gonna have a bunch of comedians come out there, and I mean, it's just great to have like a spot where we can have like comics actually go up and perform.
No, exactly. Because the thing is that there was just no spots there.
Yeah.
There's no spots anywhere.
I mean, there's a bunch of open mics, but it's kind of hard to go to an open mic because then you got people just talking.
You got somebody like ordering coffee while you're
like, hey, dude, what'd you say, man? Like, and then run it back. Like, no,
I'm working on my premise here, buddy.
That one will be a ticketed event. You can look on our Instagram and on both ones, Blaker Brewing or Blaker Tarmac, and then you can look on the Eventbrite and buy it. And then the tickets on there, and we have like really good comedians. Martin Hodge is one of the comedians. He's the headliner. He's worked with like some people from like Wild and Out, like DC Young Boy or Young Fly or whatever his name is. He worked with Kevin Hart on the last comic standing that he did. On Comedy
damn!
Central. And then Renee Vodka will also be there, and he's also been on like multiple like NBC like comedy shows and stuff like that.
And we'd be remiss to not shout out the Fun Junkies. And they help produce.
They're the ones that helped us. So we partner like with them.
Yeah,
Eric Power and then Ong. Yeah, so it's like we've worked with them, so they're the ones that kind of put on the show, and we work with them on who the comedians like that go up there and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
it's really Raul. it's Ong and Eric and Raul.
Yeah.
As far as the Blaker, and they do stuff elsewhere too. So
they do their own following and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's gonna be a big. I mean, last time was a great hit. We had like a couple hundred people in there, and then this one it's gonna be our new CYC studio. That's right next to our series tap room.
Right.
Yeah, that's
in
one
the same parking lot.
That's one that you said that people can rent out. Is that that thing,
so
right?
Rent out for like events and stuff like that. We just had like a class reunion party in there like last week, and that's like kind of starting to get to where we wanted it to be. Still needs. I mean, we're always going to be improving and stuff like that. But
we got like murals going up on the walls.
That's cool.
There's a separate bar inside there too. We have a stage in there as well.
Yeah.
So
and there, it'll have like it's like a soon like cool restrooms and like a mezzanine, like a restroom. So like it'll be a cool like clubby.
So it's like our next like tower project, like that we're looking at. Like, oh man, this is gonna be dope.
And was the warehouse already there, or did you guys build it?
Well, it's all part of
it's like in the industrial
union we were
like,
in.
Part.
The unit we were on. So like kind of when
You're
we started,
a union.
Yeah, I mean we're unionized,
We're the union.
But like it's kind of like this L-shaped building, right? And we started like just with this piece, and then we had like neighbors, and then they move out, and we just take it, and so now we've got almost the entire L-shaped building.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so it's just one of those units, it's like an industrial with like the roll.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those, but it happened to be like the corner one, right? Where like at your kitchen cabinets at home, the corner one is like super deep and awkward.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do with this, right?
Yeah.
And so we got that unit, and then it was our owner Tom. He was like, "Hey, I think like an event space and like whatever." And obviously we kind of we chime in with stuff.
Yeah,
but like,
random.
Because we've
so
had
there we
people
go.
come into the tap room and try to like rent out a table or
Right.
something for like a party.
It's my birthday. Can I
And
like
it's
rent out?
Like we don't have a problem with that either. But then it's like that big party's taking up like all these customers that we potentially could have, and I'm like, maybe if we had like a separate spot for them,
Right.
Now we do, and now it's just like
That's cool.
a lot
and
of people
it's
are
been-
utilizing it a lot,
And we're really not
we're
not. I mean, here we are kind of advertising it, but in general, we haven't really advertised the space that
No.
much. And it's been
Yeah.
like every week or so, there's something kind of going
Well,
on.
that's cool. So you're gonna have like 2 locations now that people can rent, right? Because people will be able to rent the tower.
Yeah.
That's the back part of the tarmac. And then what's this other one called again?
The CYC. So one of our mantras as a company is cultivate your craft.
Yeah.
And so for us, like that's kind of like the heart of the company in a lot of ways. And so that's what we named it, CYC, Cultivate Your Craft Studio.
Because
so
you
we
can kind of do whatever you want in there, kind of like renting it out. Do whatever you want. Like, aren't we doing dance?
classes,
We're doing a dance class in there.
There's like a dance
cool.
teacher who's
Yeah,
like
so a
renting
dance
space.
teacher comes in there, does like the dance, rents it out, like every
Yoga.
yoga. We do yoga in there.
Oh,
so it's kinda
really?
like
That's cool.
whatever, as long, I guess like whatever your craft is and whatever you're passionate about. I mean, obviously Blaker, we're gonna be very passionate about beer.
Yeah.
And
Right.
whatever you're passionate about, I mean, we kind of want to give you like the same outlet and like the tools that you need to cultivate your craft. And
That's
I mean,
cool.
we thought it was a perfect name for it, like CYC. So
Yeah. That is really cool.
yeah.
Yep. So we're doing that. We got another thing coming up. I mean, it's not even actually a public event, but with like the Small Business Development Center of series, they kind of helped actually early days get Blaker Brewing a little bit on its feet, gave our owner Tom some good insight and some help with like his business plan, and they may have even gotten him a little bit of money or something, but pretty cool. And so he definitely feels like kind of connected to them and wants to give back. So now they're getting back up after COVID and everything. And so they were like, hey, can we do something with you guys? So we're going to do a cool like Q&A with I think a few of our team members, and then, have like other small business people or entrepreneurs come in and be able to kind of glean what they can from what we know. And then obviously it'll just be happy hour and have some beers and have
That's cool.
Yeah. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then so besides, and then 4th of July, right?
4th of July is going to be huge at the Tarmac. Yep. And so that's a $25 ticket. Children can come, but they need to come with like a ticketed adult. 21 and older, for tickets.
Yeah. Because the $25 does include a beer on us.
Right. Oh,
and then, but also you get parking, and then you get prime seating for the big the fireworks show. That's like
that
the
was
big
like
thing out there.
Like the coolest accident ever, like building the space out, because it was like, obviously it was, the location was like, well, right now, the Castle Air Force Base is a little sleepy, like when that whole thing started.
Yeah.
And now there's multiple things popping up. So it's starting to really like move, which is great. But now it's, so the committee that runs that, they came to us like, hey, so we used to park a bunch of cars where you guys are, and we used to do all this stuff like with your location. Now that you're there, like, do you want to be a part of this? And we're like, of course.
Yeah.
And so now we're going to be the only place out there where you're supposed to have alcohol. Now we all know what everybody does, but that being said, we will be the only place where you can hang out in our limits, which is very big now that we have the tower. And you're right underneath the fireworks show, and you've got, your beer, you get 1 beer included. Also, we have our own parking area, which will allow you to basically have like your car is very close to you, where like on that day there's on a bad year, there's like 12,000 people out there. On a good year,
they had
the most they ever had was like 17,000 or 18,000.
And you got to remember too, because we didn't have it last year, so it's only going to be double.
Which feel like it's going to be crazy. Yeah. So you'll have parking very close.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
and if you want to get those tickets, you can also get those on the same place that are on Instagram. Buy the tickets,
and they're doing a little giveaway if you guys tag 3 friends.
Tomorrow, we're actually doing that tomorrow. So today,
this might come out
today's
by
last
4th of July. You guys
no worries. If you didn't already do it,
if you already do it, get ready for next year.
Next year, exactly.
But we're gonna do a lot of stuff, man. We built these spaces to use them and to one of the things that it's not actually like a core value, but friendship is one of our core values, and for us, that's community is a part of that. And in a lot of ways, we look at Blaker Brewing, almost like a community center.
Yeah.
And so now that we've got an event space where we can have big groups without being crowded at both locations, it's like it's such that thing, know? So there's going to be opportunities for us to do that in a charitable way. There's opportunities for people to run their own events, and there's opportunities for us to throw events.
Yeah, exactly. So. Because that's like something that I've been talking about on my podcast is like I've had a lot of local artists on, right? And the thing that what I've realized about Merced and Atwater and just the whole Central Valley in general is that there's not a lot of places for people to put on shows.
Right.
Or like there's of course there's a Save Mart Center, but that's not for the little guy. You know what I mean?
But it's crazy to think like all the like feedback you get from that, like having a spot like that.
No, exactly. You know what I mean? And as soon as I saw I saw you guys as the tower, that whole area, I was just like, oh, this is the perfect location to have like a local concert. Because like I've talked to like all the artists that have come on. Like some of them have like a pretty good following and stuff too, and they're just like there's nowhere for us to do anything.
No,
and so like I want to hopefully eventually like MC a little show for them, but like obviously Tarmac, do something. No, it'd be really cool just to put it on just for the local community, just because like the whole thing is just like there isn't shows because there's nowhere to have shows. And now that there is places to have shows, it's like, well, let's make it happen.
Not to mention like to self-produce, right? Those bigger, if you can even get into those bigger venues, that's great. But on top of that, obviously, like that venue is going to take a pretty massive chunk of what you make, right? And so what we're, we obviously want to make money too, but we're also going like, well, we're going to make money on the beer first off.
And if there's an event there, you're automatically going to have more people coming there.
Exactly. So you got a better crowd just because there's something happening. And if we all co-produce together, I'm sure we'll take something. We'll get a little something for our trouble. But the cool thing is like that also allows the artist to take a lot more home.
Yeah.
There's not like kind of a company in the middle of the venue.
Like there normally is.
Almost to keep them going, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, we've seen that with the comedy show too. Like the people putting that together, they're able to pay the comedians more than like they normally would get for something like that. We've got a great space at both locations, so both of those places can get a bigger crowd than like your casual bar crowd, like a lot of the venue where you do stand up, it's like, oh, like it's at like a bar or a restaurant or whatever it might be. And like, there's
people are like eating.
And there's room for like 40, 50 people, maybe 100 if it's standing room. We're like, we've got room for, at the CYC, we've got room for, 150 seated easily.
I think we're gonna push the limit on this one though. This one will be nice. Yeah.
And then
like
the
this
tower.
Who knows?
If you really had a crazy show, there could be 1,000 people out there,
Yeah.
and it probably wouldn't be that crowded.
It wouldn't.
And you're in. That's so you got those many people. I mean, it's cool. So we're really excited about it. Obviously.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited for you guys. And then so you were talking about the name Blaker and how it came to be.
Yeah.
So was the street of where Blaker is now called Blaker, or was?
Yeah. So it's not actually on Blaker Road anymore.
Okay.
No, yeah,
Family,
it's on Montclair.
the family dairy farm.
Oh,
is on Blaker.
that's what I was thinking it was. So that's where the family's dairy was Blaker Road,
Right.
And they just kind of stuck with
And that's
them.
Lucas Dairy and Lucas
Yeah.
Farms. But when they did the brewery, they kind of named it after the original Blaker 40.
Because that's where they brewed
I'm pretty
it right
happy
at
they
the house.
dropped the 40 off the name, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it sounds a lot
yeah.
better.
Yeah,
it
it
Sounds like we make
Blaker.
just only malt liquor.
Yeah.
It's like only strictly Blaker 40s.
Blaker 40s.
People are bringing their own duct tape and stuff. And I'm like, no.
All right, you guys.
Edward 40 hands.
Yeah, just get a sample. Just get a sample.
Yeah, about 40 night at the
yeah.
Blaker Brewery. you guys.
Honestly, our brewers really want to do like a 40 ounce lager. or
Oh,
something.
that'd be cool.
Or even a malt liquor, right? They
Uh-huh.
really want to just because I mean, I was like a Miller High Life 32 ounce
Yeah,
guy, right?
yeah.
I was a King Cobra.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Then there's another. What's the? There's
OE, man.
There's a malt liquor
OE.
that has they always have like a fun fact. on the-
Mickey's.
Mickey's. Yeah. That's what I.
Brass
That's what I
monkey,
drank.
bro.
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
Mickey's.
Those
man.
were the Snapples of malt liquor.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, what is the malt liquor?
Oh, jeez.
Are you breaking my shit?
Yeah. Look at these gold mics, bro. These ain't cheap. All right, Micah
Should
doesn't
have
mess
had
around.
James mics over here.
Right? So malt liquor. I think the main difference with malt liquor is I think a large percentage of it, if not all of it, is made from just like sugar solids.
Oh, really?
So instead
Yeah.
of using like
Which kind of counteracts the
grain.
flavor, yeah.
yeah. So I believe that's right. I might be.
Yeah.
I might be full of crap.
Come on, brewmasters.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna
we
young
can-
Jamie this shit.
No, yeah, dude. I wish I had a Jamie so
yeah, you gotta
bad.
get a young
guys.
Jamie, bro.
Oh wait,
As you build it.
I mean, my buddy.
Where's Jimmy?
No, I'm Jimmy.
Young Jimmy.
Yeah.
Young Jimmy, and he's got longer hair too.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you're talking about your buddy Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. Yeah, exactly.
For some reason, I always want to call him Blake.
From
Workaholics.
That's because he
Yes,
looks.
okay.
That's because he looks identical to that.
I know. I hate it. I saw him and I was like,
Oh, he's like a buff
Jim,
version of him.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
A buff version of.
Yeah.
Do you mind handing me one more?
Oh, I got
Malt
you.
liquor.
What do you want?
Well, it's got to be
Let's do a
higher
juicy
than.
double.
This is what Wikipedia says. It's got to be higher than 5% by ABV, and it's made with malted barley, which is that's what regular beer's made with. So I'm still confused. High alcohol,
cheaper.
6%. Ingredients similar to American lager. Let's see.
Come on,
Strong
Jamie.
ale in which sugar, corn, or other adjuncts are added to the malted barley to boost the alcohol, which in our beer we do as well. Like you sometimes add like glucose solids, which are like food grade, like really, it's not like your table sugar. It's like made for the process specifically. But like stuff like this, like you'll add a little bit of the sugar. That just because the yeast eats sugar and creates alcohol and it creates carbon dioxide. Right? So
okay.
it's like if you want to basically keep the body of your product light but increase the alcohol, you might add a little bit of sugar because that yeast it's going to eat up all that sugar. Because that's like it's like when you got your plate, you got your it's like your PB&J or whatever. It's like the easiest thing that your body can digest, right? So that sugar, those glucose solids that you might add to that beer, the yeast is going to be like, oh, this is like crack. Like, they love it, right? So they eat that right up, which means that there's less body left in your final product for a higher alcohol. Whereas if I used all grain and didn't use any sugar to make that same ABV, there'd be a lot more body, a lot more color, a lot more richness to the final product. And you might end up in the same place, but the actual overall perception and the flavor would be actually different.
Oh,
So
okay.
Using those extracts allows them to basically keep the liquor or the ABV amount higher without having like a super heavy beer.
Yeah, because malt liquors are kind of all
Super drinkable.
super light. Or it feels like it's very light beer.
Yeah. I mean,
And they're
I
very
think it's-
viable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like $3 for
$3 for 40 ounces.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
And if you weren't too full, you could probably
Yeah.
have two of them because they're
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
easy drinking,
Mama said
so.
never pass up a good deal. So,
So
you're
I
like-
think I was halfway right. Like
Yeah.
it is made with malted barley, but all beer is. So in this case, it's malted barley, but they boost the ABV with sugar. That's what it. So I guess it's
Oh, okay, that's
halfway.
pretty
Yeah.
interesting. And then, so do you guys have like put any like weird or interesting ingredients in your guys' beers?
Besides the lake water in that one, if you didn't listen to the whole
no honey
podcast,
in our honey babies.
Yeah, exactly.
I would think probably our sours, man. That's about as
those are kind of fun. We
Yeah.
did a saison with hibiscus.
we did an apricot.
We're doing a shandy right now.
We're doing a shandy. We did the apricot, the Sour Pit Kids.
Yeah,
That was our first sour we ever did.
That's a good name.
Sour Pit Kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sour Pit Kids.
and that was like apricots. So I think that's why we
Apricots.
said pit.
Yeah.
Sour Pit. The shandy, if you don't know, I mean, I don't know if you
I
drink
don't.
shandy.
I haven't.
Yeah, there you go. So shandy is basically it's a beer mixed with lemonade. And so
Oh,
it's really, you can get it at a bar. You can get but it's like a poolside.
I've
drink.
done. I mean, I've done that
You've had
before.
that. You didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know that.
Trying to
was
think
a
of all the
name for
beers
it.
now,
I used to
yeah.
always get Coors Light and then just like drink half of it and then put
then-
lemonade in the other half.
Yep.
and,
Oh,
like,
the guava the Hut.
Guava the Hut.
Guava
That
the
was an
Hut.
IPA.
Oh, there we
That was
go.
our last year's May 4th beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
we always like to
okay,
do.
yeah.
Sometimes we like to do like
kinda,
on May
we're kind of
4th.
nerdy, so
yeah.
So we do a May 4th beer.
Losers.
Nerd alert.
got a crap in the podcast.
Yeah.
It was weird.
We put guava in our beer because it's got Java the Hutt.
You're like, oh god.
It's pronounced guava.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So that, and then let's see, what else? Anything else weird? Obviously the Vanuatu vanilla beans go
Yeah.
in the vanilla bean
Yeah.
milkshake.
The
They also go in
Quetzalcoatl, the Quetzalcoatl one.
Yeah,
That one's
yeah.
probably the Mexican
Kind of
chocolate
Mexican
we put in
chocolate
there.
vodka
Yeah.
style
Oh,
on that one.
So is Mexican chocolate? Is that like? I mean, I compare that to. So I used to be a barista.
Oh, cool.
But I
Yeah.
used
You just put tahini on it.
No, yeah. Exactly. Is it spicy at all, or
It's
no.
got like a not a I don't want to say tang, but it's got like you can taste the difference, yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
But because Quetzalcoatl is the name of the Aztec god that gave the Aztecs chocolate.
Oh,
So that's where
really?
it
Yeah.
came from. Yeah.
He was like a kind of dragon-esque,
Dragon-esque, yeah,
Do you
like-
guys like learn all this like random information like just through like
Just-
the
yeah.
brewing process
Yeah.
and then trying to come up with a name and then
Yep.
like
Honestly,
you're like,
beer
well, we got
naming-
really deep
yeah.
into this, you guys.
Yeah,
Beer
no, we
naming-
have a young Jamie over there too. So, yeah.
Beer naming makes you like, and then once you like learn the name of it, and then like I feel like once you're like kind of incorporated in the naming of the beer, you just never forget it. Like
And also sometimes it's like it's really like the competition of who can make the stupidest pun, right?
Yeah.
So that gets, I mean, like the text chains get so
Oh,
like
like,
it's
our
like all
group
of us
chat
in a
chains
chain.
are just like, all
Yeah.
right, Tom will be like,
You're
we're
like,
naming
please
this one.
thumbs up mine. Please
Yeah.
thumbs up mine.
Like fat beer in a little can.
Subscribe, like, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or our group
fat
chats
beer in a little
get-
can. Yeah, that was a good one.
And then we want to do
This one was fun. This was like obviously like so just a juicy double. Check it out, people.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Um,
wrap on the back of
Yeah,
it.
so this is obviously find that juicy double.
Mhm.
Someone's in trouble. So there's that. It's a double IPA, so juicy double. And actually this beer in its current iteration has the same hops as this beer, but it's like a double IPA version of it basically.
So what does it mean when something's a double IPA?
Yeah, usually that is mostly comes up like traditionally would be basically just related to the ABV.
Mhm.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So anything like an IPA is, I think the lowest it can be is like 5.5%. But that would put it in like what they call session IPA,
This is
which
the
in a
highest,
lot of
like,
ways is
7
kind of like a
something.
pale ale.
Yeah.
And then after 7.49, I guess 7.5, you're at double. You're at a double IPA. So this is like we kind of sometimes jokingly this is like IPA and a half because it's like 7%.
Oh,
kind of on the border, you know?
Yeah.
Then you
yeah.
can get into like the triples
and
or
this is
imperials.
8.5.
This
So
is
yeah.
yeah.
What makes it a
8.5, yeah.
so what?
And then a triple, I think, is at like 10.5 or higher. I think it's
yeah.
10.5 and then higher.
Because ABV and IBUs are those the main like two little scales that
Yeah.
for beer.
As far as like for like the consumer to like understand it. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
A-
like
a
a
lot of people
measuring
know what
stick.
ABV. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like IBUs, I feel like it's more of like a suggestion
Yeah.
because it's IBUs
certainly.
are the International Bitterness Unit.
Yeah.
So it's think just the higher the number the IBU is, the more bitter the beer's
Yeah,
gonna be.
because some IPAs are like
Yeah.
had their IBUs are way up, and then
Yeah.
other like I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of like hazies because their IBUs are generally a little lower. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Actually, generally, hazies, there's not really an accepted way to measure the bitterness in a hazy
Mhm.
IPA
Yeah.
because the IBU is literally a measurement of the bitterness of the beer. Well, when you're adding hops to the hot side of the brewing process, so when
Yeah.
it's boiling, you add the hops, and that's what's going to give you your bitterness. We can go way deeper into the nerdiness there, but I think we
Yeah.
can leave it there.
yeah.
Point being, IBUs are measured by like how much hop and how much potential bitterness is in that hop, and at what point did you add it, and then there's like equations to tell you what the IBU will
okay.
be. The problem with the hazy right now in the industry is that with a hazy, you add in a traditional hazy, all the hops are added after we're done boiling. And so it's either like when you're about to knock the beer out of the kettle and into the fermenter,
Mhm.
or it's added in the fermenter, which is a huge portion of the hazy IPA.
Mhm.
It's called dry hopping. And so it's
Still
totally wet, but it's just not. It's just not added to the boil.
Is that when you're adding the hops later? Is that what makes the hazy look hazy? Or
There's a big
Yeah.
First off, there's a lot of like kind of dispute around this, but also the biggest thing is like it's a combo of yeast being available, like being still in the beer, the yeast being suspended in the beer. It's a hop particulate, which the dry hopping would add that. You'd have little bits of hop still floating around in there. That's part of the haziness, as well as just the process. There are certain like proteins and things like that can, during the brewing process, if you do it a certain way, you can leave more proteins in the beer. They can stay suspended or not, depending how you operate. To be honest, like I'm a little over my head on it. You know, like I understand it enough to like a little bit talk about it, but like the actual details of which you'd have to talk to the brewers about. But there is also a water chemistry thing. Like there's some of that too. So really it's like 4 or 5 different variables, which is why you go get a hazy here, go get a hazy there, and they're very different.
Oh yeah, I'm saying
it's really hard to
You can
do,
get
right?
like hazies that like are very bitter, and then you can get hazies that like you're like this does taste like orange juice.
And
type
they'll,
of
and
deal.
they'll all kind of claim, I mean, because there's no real way to measurement to measure the hazy IPA like bitterness really, because they're not used on the hot side.
Yeah.
But there will be bitterness imparted by like all that dry hopping and all the stuff you're adding, but like there's not really a traditional way to measure it. So like there's literally like really smart people working on it right now. They're like, oh yeah, we kind of missed that. Like there's no way to measure it.
Well, because hazy is relatively new, right? Like when was like, you guys know when the first hazy or when hazy started coming about? Obviously, like I feel like a couple summers ago is when they really got popular.
Especially on the West Coast, it's only been like probably 3 or 4 years that hazy's like the name hazy IPA became a thing. They're from New England area.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
like New England hazies and stuff like that.
And EIPA is like where it
hazies.
started.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I think maybe like 3 years ago is probably like when I first had like my first hazy. Or
like West Coast side. West Coast side.
I'm gonna look it up. When do you guys think the first hazy?
Yeah. Well,
I
have a bet. I think I know what they'll probably say was the first like hazy IPA that like.
Oh, like the first one?
Yeah.
Like,
so I lived in New York at the time
Yeah.
when like hazy IPA was really hitting the thing. I think it'll be the either Sip of Sunshine or it'll be the brewery is it the Alchemist? The Alchemist Brewer? Is that it? Did I get it?
The Alchemist brought to life the
Heady Topper.
Heady Topper. Yeah.
So that was that's on the East Coast.
Damn, look at him.
Hey, I don't mess around.
Shit.
We don't need Jimmy anymore. Where's Jimmy at? You're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, young Jimmy, you're not needed. I can't wait till he watches this.
You either die
He's like,
Keaton
what
or
the
live
hell,
long
you
enough to be
guys?
a Jimmy.
That's even here, bro. You're gonna clap back on me? I'm not even there.
No.
Yeah, man. But that was it. So I think that beer was probably. Well, they didn't call it hazy IPA back then. Hazy IPA became a marketing term that became ubiquitous, like at some point, probably in like 2016, 2017. And then it made its way to the West Coast and became it just took over for beer.
Is that how late it was early it was? 2016?
No, well, this one says
That was like 2012 probably.
No, this one says. I mean, this one says 2003 was the very
I was gonna say
first
2.
one.
Maybe it was probably because like you always never like a beer like
But
that never gets traction.
It doesn't. Yeah, exactly. It's not gonna get traction until it's one of those when people are probably like, oh, that's
Oh,
kind
that
of
was a
okay,
hazy.
whatever.
Yeah, and the
Like-
market
I bet
had
you-
to adjust.
Yeah.
and all of a sudden
Or they
it
probably didn't
exploded.
perfect it to where it was like, because I bet you that's probably like looks like an unfiltered beer where it's like all kind of chunky or something like that, and people are probably like, ugh.
Mhm.
But like you drink it, and it's like that's.
It's a
probably
pretty.
delicious.
I've been I've had it. I'm lucky enough to have had it because it was at this point when I lived in New York, it was everywhere. Every bar had Heady Topper.
Mhm.
So it was like everybody wanted it. It was the beer. At the
Yeah.
time. And so at the time, New England IPA, because when you're on the East Coast, like,
Yeah.
over here you kind of go New England, and there's probably half the people are gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Unless they're a Patriots fan, right?
Mhm.
So
Ugh.
like,
Oh,
yeah,
we don't
right.
need them.
So
I need to wash that
Well,
taste out of
no,
my mouth.
I
Just watch it.
I need to
Wash
wash
out
that taste out of my
West
mouth.
Coast IPA.
But
So that was when it was built. New England IPA is what they called it. It was born in New England, which is where the Alchemist is. And basically, there's just unfiltered IPAs. They're heavily dry hopped. The water chemistry is a little different to make it like softer on the mouth as opposed to more like bright and like crisp on the tongue. A little softer, a little sweeter. And then, a lot of hops, very not bitter is generally the idea. So that's now kind of referred to as hazy or East Coast. And then more traditional IPAs like this, those are now kind of generally referred to as West Coast IPA. And so now there's almost this kind of like East-West Coast thing. So you kind of got like Biggie and Tupac. Like,
Yeah.
like you got like Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
You got 50.
You got like the Wu-Tang, then you got like ASAP Rockies and all that.
So, yeah, man. So there's more than you asked for on IPA, and we can go further. But,
yeah. No, we don't know. I mean, that makes sense.
we got a couple more beers in here. No,
I mean, hey, I'm about ready anyway.
You ready? You want one?
Whatever. Dude,
We got
dealer's choice. There we go.
West
Oh,
Coast.
it's been one of those kind of days for me, huh? This one's 8%.
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
I just
Joint
picked one.
Adventure.
I'm a professional.
That's the collab we did with.
I'm hydrating, okay?
Honestly, I've never had to do this, you guys. I have to go to the bathroom.
I have to go to the bathroom as well.
Pause. Me too.
Okay.
Let's go together. Let's do this podcast to the bathroom.
Triple stream pros.
Well, yeah. I'm just gonna leave it recording. But.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna let you know that it will be recorded while I'm gone.
We'll go.
No, it's okay. You guys already had a beer before I got here.
Whatever you guys would like.
Hey, Raul, show them your titties.
Yeah. They're like, oh, I've already seen that on.
We're both getting fired.
I've already seen that on a bunch of website videos. I'm like, hey, see him again here live.
His
You haven't seen this one.
Somebody did it, by the way, and I hope this is like the best part of the podcast. What did you say?
We're left alone. We're looking
just over
at
here to
stuff.
see his history on his computer and
Yeah.
shit.
Whoa. This guy's into
whoa.
small people too.
Oh, sick.
Man, we gotta share some links, my guy.
You saw that brewery that did only cans. They had a beer can that was only cans. Yeah. Did you
I
send me
love
that?
Yeah.
You might have sent me
the
that.
only
Yeah.
cans.
Yeah.
I was. It was
This
in
is Joint
reference to me
Adventure?
promoting my own. Yeah.
This is our collab with High Water Brewing, which is really cool, really successful beer release.
It's our joint adventure. It was a 420. I feel like we did two.
Feels so good when it hits your lips.
Yeah, I feel like we did two with safety meeting.
Yep.
We're tagging out.
We looked at your history.
Oh no!
Can I-
There's been
Do
a
it.
breach in the system.
It's like I had a firewall. What happened?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool, man. No, we were just talking about this beer a little bit. Joint Adventure. So this beer was a release with High Water Brewing. It's
So it's
kind
a
of,
different brewery?
yeah. So we collabed with High Water. They've been around since I want to say they've been around since 2010. And they
And where are they located?
they're in Lodi,
Okay.
and they're all over up in Stockton, Lodi kind of area. They're very popular. They have a few different beers that are.
Burp. You just burp in the mic for the sake of the. There we go.
Use it on your new
Perfect.
intro.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
you, like redo it in a couple of years. Be like, yeah, that was good.
Real talk.
Real talk. Yeah, so this was so they're very popular up there, and actually they have multiple beer labels that are like international. And one that you almost, I know you do a little beer, maybe you're not like crazy beer nerd, but Campfire Stout. I don't know if you know that one.
I've
It's
heard
got a
of
bear,
it,
like
yeah.
roasting marshmallows on the front. It's usually in bottles. They do it in cans now as well. That one is actually sold like in Amsterdam, like all over. Like it's imported internationally. It is well recognized and very well rewarded and regarded. And it's a super good like stout with like marshmallow flavors and vanilla flavors
That's
and all
fucking
that.
wild.
Super good.
I
And
take it we're talking about a
High
campfire
Water.
stout.
Yeah.
Like, you see,
Dude,
knows.
I love it.
And so High Water, it was actually kind of a cool story that I'm excited to tell. Jake, our head brewer, coolest guy. And
Yeah, actually, I ended up talking to him for a good amount of time
at the
Summer Smash.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cut
yeah.
short-haired Jake.
Yeah.
He had his hair way longer.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I mean,
he
it's
just-
still,
he
it's still
just-
not that
It's-
short,
yeah,
though,
he got
right?
it. It's
He went
like
through a
this probably
Britney
now.
Spears phase and just
He
went,
did. Hey, you got rid of it.
just cut it all off. No.
Yeah. So anyway, the guy, Steve, who's like the owner of High Water, he basically kind of Jake knew him when Jake was like coming up a little bit in the business. Jake was like a beer tender at like I can't remember the name.
Channel?
Well, before that, it was like
Oh.
Jake was like beer tending at like a tap house, like a tap room. I can't remember which one, but it was up in like Stockton, Lodi.
Yeah.
And he kind of knew him. He would come in there and he would sell beer there and do whatever. So they kind of got to know each other. Jake was like home brewing, and then basically he ended up brewing at Channel Brewing, which is in Stockton. And I think they've closed their doors sadly, but he was there. And he was, bartending, beer tending, and then like brewing a little bit on like their little small system and kind of getting his feet wet and making really cool beers. And they liked him there. And then he ended up moving on to Idle Beer Company in Lodi just for a little bit, kind of doing like getting paid per batch kind of thing. And then we were lucky enough to steal him. He's been with Blaker for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
And
Doing really good
yeah,
stuff.
and so now he's our head brewer. But the point is it's kind of been a long journey. But for him, it's been super cool to be like, now even he wouldn't consider himself nearly on the same level as Steve, but it's cool to be like, we shared the brew deck,
Yeah.
we brewed a beer together, and it's like, here I am, 5, 6, 7 years after the fact, and like we're working together, which is really cool. So
that
this
is
like one of those
cool.
like,
Double IPA we
refreshing
did with
moments.
him.
Like,
And
yeah.
so how do breweries work together
Yeah,
for
yeah.
beer?
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying it's like a refreshing thing, like to see like where you started at and then where you're at now.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
almost like I think I'm doing this right. I'm thinking I'm doing something
We're
right.
doing something right.
Doing something right.
That's like with photography and videography. You kind of feel like you're like making no progress, and then once a year passes, you look back and you're like, oh wow, look how much we have.
Am I in the same spot I was last year, or am I doing better?
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
Facebook shows you like your memory from the year before.
Yeah,
You're like,
exactly.
oh, wow, I really
You're like, I'm
suck.
still doing those.
Yeah, I'm really good.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly.
Yeah, still staying up till 2, huh? Like, all right.
So there's a couple cool things about this beer. One, the collab. Two, it's we use Admiral Malting's malt, which is a craft artisanal maltster in Alameda, the Bay. And so malt is basically you take barley or different types of grain, but very traditionally it's barley, and then you basically let it grow a little bit, you germinate it, and then you dehydrate it to stop it from growing. But what that little moment of growth for like a week or a few days does is it basically there's enzymes inside the kernel that basically open up the starches and make them accessible for brewing. And so that step is super important so we can do our job. So it's funny because the malting is like, actually, it's really like half the process of making a beer is like they do it and we just buy it in bags and it's already ready to go for us.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
You can't just throw barley in there. It has to be malted. Otherwise it won't be accessible.
And so what's the process of, like, how do they like let it, you said germinate? Yeah.
Yeah. So you got your little kernel of like the grain or whatever, and you get it wet, and then you got to keep it at a certain temp range to where it wants to grow, just like any other seed, right? And then once it basically starts kicking out, which I think they call, there's like a really technical word, but I think they call it the chit.
Yeah, once it starts to crack and stuff.
Yeah, it cracks and a little tail
like
will
almost
come out.
about to come out.
Yeah, you see like the first little root. It's a little white.
You know that sunflower seed that you see like kind of cracks a little bit?
Yeah.
It's like right when it's like about
How
to like
the fuck did
bridge.
people like figure out how to brew
I don't know,
beer?
but I'm so
They
glad.
were bored as shit.
I'm so glad that they figured it out.
Everything went away.
Yeah.
I'm so glad they figured it out. I would not been able
Nobody's
to do
doing
it.
shit anymore. People are just out there like going like, how do I grow this just
Yeah.
right? They really wanted to get drunk. That's what happened. They were so bored and they really wanted to get drunk. And they're like, if I just throw regular barley in there, nothing happens. And it tastes like shit. And it's super acidic and like crappy.
But
and then if I let it do this, all of a sudden it works.
But then you got to think about it too, like all the failed attempts.
How
When
much
people
mold-
get drunk,
Yeah.
you're like,
How much like moldy
hey, hats
beer were
off
people
to you.
drinking? Yeah.
We actually got to see where that
Admiral
comes from, or where the Admiral comes from. We went we went on a field trip there for Blaker because we
Man,
do a
you
lot of
guys
team
still
building.
gotta go on field trips?
Yeah, a little bit.
You guys need a photographer for these field trips?
Yeah, well,
And,
yeah.
We're not hiring. Don't come over here. No, but we went there because we do a lot of team building stuff because one of our core values is like, friendship and then also like learning and stuff like that. So, I mean, it was cool to go there because like we do bottle shares every month. And we usually just, we're all beer nerds. We love going to other breweries and stuff like that. So we grab something like, hey, I think Keaton might like this, or Jake might like this because he's into that, or something like that. And we all come together and we all try these different beers. Obviously, it is to get drunk around your friends that you work with and stuff like that.
Kind of have a little fun.
Yeah,
right?
but majority of it is too though is like, how do we make this beer, or how do we put our own spin on this beer and stuff like that.
Or like,
So
I
when
never
we-
had this style before.
Yeah, so when we do these like work field trips that we do like every month or so, it's like, man, we're like, ooh, dude. And then like, obviously towards the end of the night, you've had a couple drinks. You're like, oh man, we should do a sour. Like, this sour is like,
Let's go to the barrel aged stuff.
yeah, all the barrel aged stuff. You're like, no, you're like, stay away. But yeah, but like we do that. Like that's what I'm saying. We always like growing and stuff like that. And we always love trying different beers and stuff like that to make our company better. And then also too, it's like a great bonding experience too with your coworkers and stuff like that. We've been working together for what, 3 years?
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild,
So,
though. That's
3 years in August.
Blaker's pretty young, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's what
cool.
I'm saying,
Like
yeah.
how big you guys are now.
Kind of on the ground floor.
But it's not really different from like the person that's been working there for like 2 months.
Yeah,
They kind of already work like once or 1 week or two, and they're like, dang, y'all are like really close, huh? We're like, well, hey, you're already close with us.
Yeah,
Did you get your first paycheck? Yep. All right. Well, you're with us.
You're
now.
in.
You're in this with us now.
Oh,
yeah.
they paid you. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got that. Fuck.
Good luck.
I
Good for
forgot
you,
to get
man.
mine. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this beer is
Yeah.
it's great. It's a double IPA. And you asked, how did we?
Yeah.
Well, generally, what it'll be is like the brewers will generally get together and create, a recipe or a concept or kind of a jumping off point. In this case, we wanted to do a beer that was like a 420 release with them. Both of the brewers are fans of cannabis. And so they were.
Is that what's on here right here?
Yeah, look at the back there.
Yeah,
You see that?
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's one on this side too. Yeah, so it's real kind of subtle if you don't really look at
Yeah.
it. It looks like a little pine tree, but yeah, it's a cannabis plant. So, So we figured, we kind of threw some names around, and obviously Joint, so it's called Joint Adventure. And so we thought like Joint Venture, Joint Adventure. Both of the brewers, I mean, a bunch of us love like the outdoors and stuff. But like, Jake, our brewer, he's like super into it. He's out doing that like during the summer. He's gone like every weekend. And so, and then Steve loves all that too. And so then we figured something outdoorsy, something cannabis related, whatever. Joint Adventure. So came together. We couldn't be prouder of it, and like just the process and just working with those guys.
It's really good. I love it.
It's cool.
Beer.
It's an old school IPA.
I'm gonna steal some of this.
Please do.
Yeah, I just want to taste it.
Please do. Yeah. So it's kind of an old school. So it's a little more malty, a little heavier on the tongue, a little more bitter than some of our other.
So High Water is the one that you guys did it with,
High
right?
Water, yeah.
And but so when you guys do what's like, are they selling it too?
Yeah. So
like from
when
their
we
brewery?
make it at our place, legally speaking, we produced it in our facility, so we own it, even though they lent, intellectual property, you could say.
Oh,
or labor.
okay. Yeah, I was just wondering. That's
right.
what I was wondering.
Yeah,
more
so
of like,
it's early days with collabs.
But I guess it says,
it
Blaker's on the
says
top,
made by-
High Water's on the bottom.
Right, and it says somewhere it's like made by Blaker Brewing, blah blah blah. So like it's so yeah, we sell it to them. We distribute it to them, right? Because we can distribute our own beer.
That's
legally.
pretty good.
Yeah,
and they buy it
like that
and
little
then-
like grassy. Kind
Yeah,
of feel.
yeah.
and
Grassy,
a little
but-
earthy, a little bit,
good.
almost a little spicy.
Mhm.
There's a little more body to the malt. This is like, so these are like first time we had ever used like Admiral malt is the only malt in this beer.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very, you're getting a lot of flavor off the malt in this beer, and they wanted that.
Mhm.
So they knew they wanted to go kind of old school
Yeah.
IPA, which these days IPAs are a little bit lighter bodied, very much like hop centric.
Yeah.
Where like it used to be more of a balance, like malt and hops, and it was kind of like darker in color. Where this one is going to be like almost bright gold. That's got like an.
You gotta try some of this one too.
Look
All
to
right,
it,
here we
right?
go.
Glass. This is
There
our
you go.
juice
Our
table.
water glass.
See, he thought they should was gonna be for water. Yeah, you're like, this is the wrong room.
Water is to show weakness.
I'm having a sampler
There
right
you
now.
go. Good man. Yeah, I'm doing a flight. Yeah, fly me away.
We gotta show you a regular Tuesday
So this
at
is more of
Blaker.
a normal IPA, so you can see
Yeah.
the difference in color there.
There we go, you guys. If you're watching
Yeah.
this,
Chew. Yeah, please watch.
I'm always amazed that people
Yeah.
watch this.
Yeah.
because like I always get like 50 to like 100 views like watching it,
Mhm.
and I'm always like, who is? Thank
Thank you guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank
guys.
you. We appreciate
Thank you,
you
man.
watching.
Yeah.
If I could pass you a beer, I would love to
Yeah.
pass you a beer.
Come hang out
And
and be
come
like,
hang
we
out.
watched your
Yeah.
episode, and then we will pass you a beer.
Yeah.
Watch the whole
At-
episode. No, I'm just
Yeah.
At
Right
the
now,
time,
if you watch till now, the code is
Yeah.
what was the slime or what was it?
the secret word.
Oh,
I'll figure it out.
Figure
Yeah.
it out. Yes.
Yeah.
What's the secret word? Raul?
What's the secret word? Secret word will be
And you have to find either Raul or Keaton.
Can it be Young
that's
Jimmy?
the-
Can
that's-
Young
Oh,
Jimmy be
yeah.
the secret word?
Can we do Young Jimmy?
Yeah, yeah.
Young Jimmy.
Young
You-
Jimmy's
if you
a
come up
secret
to me and
word.
say
If you
Young
come up to
Jimmy.
me or Keaton and you see us, because usually we're both at either tap rooms. If you say Young Jimmy, you
or
get
young
a beer.
young Blake to Raul.
Yeah.
Yes.
Young Blake. I'm like,
Young
you're
Blake.
Jimmy. Who's Jimmy? The dude that looks like Blake. Okay, yeah.
Now you're good.
Now
Yeah.
Start with that.
But we
yeah.
look you up, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
So just come in, young Jimmy / Blake.
I guess I'm getting free beers for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You're like, I know the password. Yeah. Well,
3 months
that
go
is-
by. I'm like,
That is the
wait.
nice part about being
Like, Mike, could you
a
edit that
partner with
video
us.
yet? You're like, yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, definitely, man. So anyway, collabs, they've been kind of the heart of the brewing industry in a lot of ways for years now. Really, it's
And
like,
so have you guys had other collabs in the past with other breweries?
Yeah, last call.
you want to hit a couple of those? I'm gonna
Yeah,
hit
go
Yeah,
for
there
it.
we go.
Last call, we did a collab with them. We did a Brute style, and then we called it Broody Call.
So what's a brute style?
Brute's a little bit more of like a crisper, cleaner kind of like lager.
Okay.
So it's gonna have a little bit more ABV into it,
Mhm.
kind of in the sense of like how like a IPA.
What's ABV stand for?
Alcohol by volume?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is actually more of a like to the T of it because we actually test it. So IBU is more of like suggestion. So the way I was saying it's like earlier, it's like how like IBU is like a suggestion is because like let's say like you throw in Simcoe, Cascade, and Idaho 7
Mhm.
in the hops. You kind of get like a point system for each of one. Like so you go off of a graph like, oh, the Simcoe is like 10 IBUs. So they're like, this is IBUs and stuff like that. So it's more of like a gauge to it. So like if you have like those beers that get like, oh, they're 100 IBUs.
Yeah.
I really don't think there's a beer out there that's actually 100 IBUs.
Yeah.
It's more of just like, it's just too hoppy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But yeah, so ABV is more of just like the alcohol by volume. So think the higher the ABV, the more hoppy like that beer is going to
Mhm.
tendally be because you usually want to mask that beer or you want to mask the alcohol with like a hoppier flavor. to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want somebody just to drink like double and then be like, ooh, it tastes kind of boozy. You usually want to save those for like the barrel aged kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Because then you put those in barrels and that gets like the devil's cut from the barrels and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a little bit more boozy. Like we did one where it was in Jim Beam barrels. It was aged for like about 9 months or about a year, year and 2 months, and you could smell it, and it smelled way worse than it tasted.
Really?
You could smell it, and it's
like a little more like liquor. Like
yeah, like if I were to give it to you, man, like it would be like, it's like a shot of Jack Daniels. You're like, dude, there's no way I'm drinking that. Then you drink it, and you're like, that tastes like chocolate milk.
Like I guess it must be pretty hard though if you were drinking it, like not to smell it.
No, because I mean after a couple of drinks, then you're good with it, man. Yeah, it's good. I was telling them about how like when you drink like a barrel aged one, like the remind me the name, the Jim Beam one. Jim Beam Barrel Harvest. Jim Beam Barrel Harvest. Yeah, I was telling them how much it smells differently than what it tastes like. Like you drink it, you're like, ooh, it's like a shot of liquor. Then you drink it, you're like, that's like chocolate milk.
It's like chocolatey, dude, and like rich, and it's kind of like if you ever do like an Irish coffee or something, right?
Yeah.
You might smell the booze once you're drinking it. You're like, oh, it's actually pretty smooth.
Yeah,
like,
we did one with like Jamaican rum.
Those were like 13%, so they are some serious beers. But
yeah, you definitely have to put like a warning label on those. Like, hey, man, and then like people are like, oh, can I get a pint of that? I go, you don't want a pint, and they're like, really? I go, 10 ounces.
That's like the ones that you give them smaller ounces.
Yeah, like come back to me.
Size or whatever,
let's see.
Is there a law or something about like like sometimes like because I used to work at Ribbits and Modesto, and so like when we would get like a 12% beer, we'd have to serve it in like a smaller.
I mean, just like in any bar, like you you have like technically a bartender isn't allowed to put more than I think 2 ounces of full strength liquor in any drink.
Yeah.
So when you order,
unless they're a good bartender,
right?
Yeah.
Well, right. Not the ones I
got 3 more down.
Jerry, you know you. Yeah, there's no Jerry. But like if you order like your adios motherfucker, right? Like it's like it's a shot of this and a shot of that. It's like legally speaking, it's not supposed to. And in most mainstream bars, you're not going to actually get a shot of all that. You're going to get like a half shot.
Yeah.
Because they can't.
Like a Long Island.
Yeah. Then again, how many bartenders are measuring out?
Exactly. It's like,
hey, if you go to Applebee's, you probably will find it. I mean, those dollar ones are not measured out at all.
Yeah, definitely.
So technically, if we put that in a pint glass, it's like we're doing the same thing as them. And then also too, like those beers that we make are a little bit more expensive, like on our end. So it's kind of like
super limited too.
Yeah, and then some of the limited ones that we do, like the barrel aged stuff. Like we don't allow you to get it in like some of them we don't let you get in a sampler. Some of them we don't let you get growlers of it because we only have so much of it and it's so like
kind of
rare.
In-house. Just come in-house,
like,
enjoy it.
But it's also kind of like we want to let everybody try it. Like it's like, I mean, don't get seconds before somebody hasn't had their first kind of thing. You know what I mean? Right. So like we want to save it for like the people that are like, man, I really like that, and they're like, try it out, and then they get a glass of it. You can get more than you'd like in 10 ounces, but as far as like a growler goes, you're probably not going to get it just because, I mean,
how much is a growler in a growler?
64 ounces.
Yeah. So it's the same as a 4-pack.
Yeah.
So
is that a gallon or no?
It's a half gallon.
Oh, it's half gallon. Yeah. Okay.
A gallon, 120.
And then howlers are 34.
Okay.
Growlers are usually like what, 22?
Oh, no, 32.
32. What did I say, 34? Yeah, 32. Yeah. So howlers are 32, and then crowlers are usually like 22.
Oh, okay.
Which I think I would really like if we did crowlers soon, but it's just the machine.
Matter of
I mean, we could do it. It's just like we have other things we're kind of focusing on.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is, when it comes to this business, is like the best thing for us, and also in a lot of ways for our fans, is like for us to serve you a pint over the bar.
Yeah,
we make a little bit better money when we do it that way. You have a better experience. You're here with us doing it. That's really the intent. All the cans and stuff, man, we spend a lot of time and energy and money to like create these and get them out in the world. And it's super cool and we love doing it. But really the heart of it is like serving you a pint over the table, and just, we sit here, you have a beer, we talk about the beer, we do that. That's the heart of it. So, for us, it's like getting a crowler machine is like, that's a great way to go, but and we want to do that. But as far as like priorities, like for us, priorities is like, let's get the event spaces up, like let's do all whatever, like, so those dollars go there. And then whenever there is money, it's like, we got to buy new kegs, we got to buy new vessels for making beer.
It's cool that you guys are focusing more on like event type of stuff though, honestly, because like, I mean, you guys could easily just be focusing on, let's see how we can make the most money possible without having to deal with like, all this other stuff. But you guys are kind of like doing the opposite almost in the sense of like, community based.
Yes. And honestly, like we talk about, obviously, making dollars is good, right? Always good. And it's, you gotta make a certain amount to be in business. But, we're happy to say we've been pretty successful. So, making a few dollars isn't necessarily a problem.
Yeah.
But on the other end, it's, we are fully aware that doing events and, stuff like that, where the community becomes more engaged, there's times we do events and stuff where we don't really make that much money, to be honest, because it's a bigger crowd, but we're paying for like games, we're paying for bands, we're paying for this, we're paying for the stage and like the lighting rig and all the whatever. And by the time it's all said and done, it's like, well, we made some money. Did we make that much more than if we were just open and didn't pay for any of that other stuff?
Yeah.
Not to mention all the extra staff. And all
Yeah.
that. It's like, sometimes it's really not that different, but what it is, and it takes a lot more effort on our part, but what it is something for community.
Yeah.
What it is first off, it's just more fun for us.
Yeah.
Like, we like
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that.
It's better than working on
sitting
Friday
like
night.
that.
That's nothing's going on.
Yeah,
Versus
it's fun, and
we're
so
setting
that's
that
really
staple for us, like of like being known for like those kind
exactly.
of events.
And
Which
like
we love. Yeah, we
and
love
like
being
the
known
thing
for
is,
that.
if you put on these things ahead of time, you will build relationships with people that
Yes.
you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna work with that person on doing their event, even if we're not gonna make that much money. And then it's also gonna allow you guys to charge more money for people who you don't know who want to come in and have an event.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like best of both worlds.
Absolutely, yeah. It's more
It's
of
kind of like finding that like middle ground to it, I guess. Like of like, do we get something out of it or do they get something out of it? You know what I mean? Because like more of a fact, like we want to be known for like, dude, Blaker puts on these like dope events.
Yeah.
Like Summer Smash, Blaketoberfest.
Yeah.
You guys gonna do some Oktoberfest, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah, we do it
so
every year. Yeah, it's our
So, have you guys-
Oktoberfest is what we
But
call
is
it,
it normally as serious?
It has been in the past, and
Yeah.
we did.
I don't think
year,
we haven't had one at Tarmac.
I
We
don't
do them at
think we have.
Sirius.
You guys gonna
and
have
I
one
think-
this year
I
at
think this
Tarmac?
year, yeah.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
fucking dope.
Blaketoberfest. Yeah, we do Stein challenges.
Yeah.
What's that?
Where you like fill up a big stein full
Yeah,
of beer,
oh,
and you
yeah.
gotta put it. Well, see, legally speaking, we can't make people chug beer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like
can't do the boot.
Yeah, I wish. The Das Boot.
We can't make
Das
them,
Boot.
but we have
Yeah,
we have them hold it out, and
You
then
can hold it like this, and whoever can hold it like
Yeah.
above shoulder height for the
Oh.
longest, then you win something.
Tom,
Really?
Tom and Keaton one year almost
The first year, it was me and
dislocated their
Tom.
shoulder. Pretty
It
much.
came down to me and Tom, our
Tom
owner.
was like this, like he's like that, and Keaton's like, "I'm gonna win." It's like, dude,
I
it
was
gets pretty. It
and we
gets pretty
both were like
competitive.
crying, man.
Tom's got
Yeah.
that dairy strength.
He
though.
does.
Yeah.
Arm strength.
'Cause I've been wrestling cows all my
Yeah.
fucking life,
I've
Keaton.
been
I
waiting
just
for this
wrestled
moment
it,
to become
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So 32 ounces, that's nothing. And we have videos of it too.
It was
yeah.
fun, man. That was cool.
But yeah, we'll do a Blaketoberfest at Tarmac, yeah, for sure. And that'll be probably
Dude, it'll be big.
Tom pulled me aside.
Especially by then.
He's like, how fucking dare you?
yeah.
You dare challenge?
I almost fired your ass right on the spot.
He's like, you win or here's your last paycheck.
Yeah, like
Keaton's like,
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
beer went down. Beer went down.
he's like, you were holding it with your other arm. You're like, no, it wasn't. You're like,
What?
Yeah, but we do that, and then St. Patrick's Day is a really big one for us.
Oh,
and
I'm
then
sure.
our
Halloween.
birthday, Halloween.
Our birthday's in
Halloween we
January.
usually do kind of more like 21 and up, just because like
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
some
yeah,
inappropriate
yeah.
costumes and scary costumes.
We hope.
Yeah.
We hope.
Yeah,
Dude,
we hope.
that's cool.
The Halloween
Raul
we
usually is in a banana hammock or something.
Yeah,
No, I'm
I think
kidding.
I was a nun last year, so
He
it
was,
gets
he
a
was.
little random. But we usually have DJs on for Halloween and stuff like that too, so it gets a little more hyped up and stuff like that. And then
Once in a while, like for the adults.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
family friendly usually, but a couple times a year we go adults only.
I had left the Summer Smash about like 11. Did a DJ
Right.
go up after or no?
Yeah, so on this one, it's like we had a DJ lined up, and I don't think it worked out. So we just had like a guy who was in one of the bands. He chose some music.
Oh, okay.
It was
Yeah.
a little, to be honest, like we were not like upset, but we were just like, oh man, like kind of like a little
bummed, yeah.
we wanted somebody on the ones and twos, like scratching
and like hitting it
getting
and
the
like
crowd up.
getting the hype going.
'Cause
And
I feel
so
like
it
towards
was-
the last band, there was a lot of people dancing.
No, yeah, well,
People were
I
having
was,
a good time.
I was out
I
there,
loved
man.
it,
I was
man.
out there dancing.
I was like, dude, I don't
'cause
care if that
literally,
grass
at one
gets
point,
killed.
it was
Yeah.
just me and then my friend's girlfriend, and then so my friend and my fiance were just
Yeah.
watching us, and we were like out there dancing. But like by the end of when we stopped dancing, there was like hella people
There's a
out
crowd,
there.
yeah,
it
we
was a
loved it,
crowd.
yeah.
Look at that.
And it kind of sustained for a while, and then I think it's like, it's like obviously when you get that live DJ, they can feel the vibe, they can see how people are like, they see the dance floor thin out, and they go, oh, let's change it up and go into something else.
Yeah.
And so when it's not live, so certainly we will not be doing that again.
No,
We
yeah.
will, yeah, we'll.
I mean, because
we'll-
for the amount of promotion that we had promoted for a DJ,
Yeah.
and then when you get that mindset in your head for like a DJ, you're like, this guy's gonna be like, you want to play
Yeah.
the 30 seconds of that cool song. I don't want to
Especially
hear.
for,
I don't want to hear
for
the
being
bridge
open later and everything else.
Yeah,
You want
I
to
don't
have
need the bridge of like I don't know, like
Some
Be
Drake
Humble or
song.
something.
Yeah, Be humble. I want to hear
Yeah.
like the shit
Yeah,
that pops
you don't
off.
need it when it
Yeah,
slows
I just
down.
need
I
to
want to
see
hear
when
you
it hits.
scratch it. I want you to call me out on how drunk I am too. You know, be like, who's fucked up? Like, oh, you know, then your beer spills over you. Yeah. Not just like a boom, set and forget kind of thing. So, but yeah, we will be definitely, when we do a DJ from now on, we will have a DJ.
For sure. And we've done that in the past at series with our bigger events. When we do have a DJ, it's like, it gets pretty cracking, man. We had,
it's a lot of fun.
Not this last year, our anniversary in January, this last year, that the one that just passed obviously was like during, you know, COVID.
The one in series?
Yeah. Well, the one we just did like during COVID, like, it was it was pretty low key. We kept it pretty chill, but the year before that was really cool in series. I think full credit, I made a balloon drop happen.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Fun.
At the time. Yeah. And then we did a barrel release.
Yep.
And I remember like when I was working.
You said balloon drop?
Yeah, like we
all the balloons drop. Yeah.
Like, we basically had the DJ. He was all dialed in with us, and it was like, hey, you're gonna play. What was it? Turn down for what?
Yeah, like, it was like, it's like, you know, like when people get born, like, oh, this is like the time that you were born at. Like, that's the time Blaker like opened or something. It was like,
your anniversary.
It was like 7 p.m.
your
on like
birthday,
January 12th.
Yeah. So it was
like, everybody shot, or is it shots? Is it
turn down for what?
Turn down for what?
That's
cool. The balloons were coming down, and it was like I literally stayed up all night, and like
that's not. If you've seen our ceiling in the tap room at the series one, it's not a small roof. It's pretty fucking.
It's a warehouse. So like
you blew up all those balloons, bro.
Yeah, I did it. I had like a machine with like 2 little like and then I was like tying them off.
The tying is the most annoying
part,
dude.
It was forever. And then, but it was so worth it, dude. When it hit, it was like, and people were asking about it the next year, like, no balloon drop. We were like, dude, we got COVID going on. Like, we're barely trying to be open.
Let us wait for next year, bro.
But I always say too, like when like we're working there, and I'm like. And then it's like, you know, it's like your shift's getting a little too long or whatever, stuff like that. And everyone's like, you good? I go, bro, as long as there's good music playing, I'll work until 5 in the morning.
I'll keep grinding,
As long as there's a good vibe going on, as long as people are like accepting the fact that like, they know where they're at. Like
somebody pass me a 5-ounce beer and let's go.
Yeah. I'm good to go, man. Yeah. It's like, as long as like I feel like we put out a good vibe at the tap rooms. So it's like accepted and then they give us a good vibe back.
Yeah.
So it's just like this like back and forth of just like, dude, let's keep it going, man.
We always describe it as like, this was like Tom kind of coined this, and I think his son Tyler, who helped develop some of the initial branding of Blaker Brewing, and Tom's son is in marketing, and he's got his own marketing company. What's it called? I'm trying to remember, but Tyler's marketing company, Revolt Media.
Okay.
Revolt Media, yeah. So they're out of LA and all that, but he had been here for a couple of years helping Blaker kind of get on his feet, marketing wise, and all that, and so he did a great job with that, but they kind of coined this thing. It's like the coolest backyard party you've ever been to, right?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's kind of the vibe that, you know, and once they coin that, now we're like, oh yeah, that's it. Now
that is kind of like, that's the vibe that I get when I'm out there.
Right? It's almost like
we want you to feel like you're at home.
Yeah. You're kind of hanging out with like your friends, even if you don't know all these people, like everybody's really casual.
I love that. Like I remember when I started working at Blaker, I noticed that like countless times I'd see like this person that I knew and then sitting next to somebody that they didn't know. And then by the end of your shift, they're like exchanging numbers. Like, dude, let's hang out sometime, bro.
We had a couple get married. They met at Tarmac.
They met at Series.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, because if they met at Tarmac, they'd only been like a year. I was like, oh, but they got married. They met at Series and they had their wedding photos at the Series tap room.
Yeah.
Because they're like, dude, can we just take our wedding pictures there? Because like we met there. And then like now we just hit it off, and it's kind of like one of those like, oh man, you're crying, like you know what I mean? It's like, damn, that's dope, man. That's
must be Taco Thursday because someone's cutting on you.
it's like, dude, I'm like, that's awesome, man. So it's like it's cool just to like hear that kind of feedback and stuff like that, like for a place that you love working for, and then people that like actually enjoy the spot that you work at. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a really cool spot.
Yep.
That is cool. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, brother.
Man, well, I mean, hey guys, I fucking have enjoyed this conversation.
Seriously,
more than I
probably more than you, man.
Yeah, we had fun.
At some points, I was like, man, they're just talking to each other. I love this.
I told you, if you get us in the room, it's gonna be talking.
No. But I appreciate you guys going on. Maybe let people know what you guys got coming up. I know we talked about it, but just remind them again what's coming up, and then
Awesome. So this next on June 19th, we have our Summer Smash at the Series Tap Room.
If this is out by then.
Yeah. If you guys want to see what we're doing about, Flying Blind will be there. We have a special beer collab that we're going to be releasing. And then on the 23rd.
23rd?
Maybe. Okay, maybe. On the 23rd, we're doing a farm-to-table dinner with our chef, Melissa. She'll be doing a 5-course meal paired with each beer that is infused in the food itself. And then on the 24th, the following day, we have our comedy show at the CYC studio in Series. Tons of comedians there, and you can get our tickets on the Eventbrite or on our social media.
Yeah,
and this will for sure be out by July 4th when they have their event at the Tarmac.
Yes,
yeah, you can buy those tickets as well on our social media platforms as well.
And that's a limited number. All of those tickets, the dinner, the comedy show, and the July 4th, it's all limited. July 4th is a little bigger, but you know, on those nights, you know, it's like we think that this year there could be 20,000 people there, and we only are doing 1,000 tickets. So,
and the only place that can serve alcohol. You gotta remember that.
The only place you're legally allowed to have alcohol.
Legally, people.
Legally.
Don't do
the illegal stuff, guys.
Yeah,
even though I would be that guy.
Yeah,
But yeah, man. So that's really cool. And I think other than that, after that, things get a little lighter for us.
Anything in August?
Yeah.
August, or I mean,
almost certainly. I mean, I could pull up a list, but you know, as far as like things that are big hitters right now, not off the top, man. But you know, fall comes up. If you guys are looking for rentals or you're looking for an opportunity to host your own event, we've had people produce their own things at our locations that we have nothing to do with.
That's cool.
You can also do, you know, grad parties, birthdays, you know, whatever it is, you know, reunions and all that stuff at these various locations. There's different packages. You can reach out to us, let us know what's up. And other than that, man, just come have a beer. Come
have a beer at Blaker Brewery, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Keaton.
Yeah, thank you, Micah.
Raul.
Nope.
Thank you, bro.
We got.
I got it there.
There we go.
Mess up that golden microphone.
There we go. Got it right. All righty. This is it. Real talk. Whatnot.